Hello again, this is Falcus with the seventh part of the tutorial about managing your data cartridge using Weapon Delivery Planner. The seventh part is about the radio navigation tab, and as all the tabs starting from the EWS MFD and all the rest to the right, this data is only stored in your callsign.ini. Having a look at the radio nav tab, you will see that we're looking at the callsign.ini and of course in this case Falcus.ini. What you see here are two columns of 20 presets. You got an UHF column what is on communication set 1 and a VHF column on communication set 2. And these are the stored frequencies under the presets. As an example, you can see here that preset 1, the frequency 297.5 has been programmed. So actually switching your uniform frequency to preset 1, you're transmitting and receiving on the frequency 297.5. The same applies for communication 2. As an example, if you select VHF preset 3, you're actually transmitting and receiving on frequency 138.2. So you might understand that during a multiplayer environment and you change these frequencies, then you would be on a different frequency as your fellow pilots and you will not hear or be able to talk to your fellow pilots. So a little caution about changing these frequencies. And for this we have some quick settings to quickly set the defaults. In the top you can see which side has been selected. In this case it's a preset for a blue side. We can quickly switch to a red side and you see all the frequencies are set for a red side environment. This means that if you want to fly on a red side, you don't have the same frequencies as flying on the blue side. You can also quickly switch back to a blue side and you'll all have the same frequencies, or just hit the default button which is actually the same as the blue side. On top you see communication 1 and communication 2 buttons. These are actually the presets that will be active when you load the data transfer cartridge. So when you get in the cockpit, load the data transfer cartridge, you will see that the uniform has been set to number 6 and the VHF to number 1. This might be very easy to program, that you get to the correct preset frequencies after loading the data transfer cartridge. Changing a frequency is very simple. For example, we'll change the frequency for preset number 6. Just type in the number. For example, we'll change it to 349.5. Hit the apply button and you'll see that the frequency changes. Because this is very important during multiplay, Weapon Delivery Planner will actually keep track of all the changes that you make compared to the defaults. And if you have any frequency not the same as the defaults, then you'll see a screen coming up saying manual, and you also see which preset frequency has been changed compared to the default. Meaning that if you keep changing your frequencies, the Weapon Delivery Planner is actually the best way to sort your frequencies and set them back. For example, using the default button, and everything is restored to default so you can hear everybody. But it might be wise to have your own frequencies for your own squadron if you're flying a multiplayer environment against other squadrons, because in that case you have secret frequencies that you can talk on that the opponents cannot listen out. If you use all the same frequencies and both squadrons are using the blue side and Squadron A is transmitting on preset 1 as an example, then the opponents can listen in and actually know what they're doing, so-called spying on the other one. That's also the reason why there are presets and not frequencies used for these operations. But if everybody knows the frequencies anyway, you can just type in the frequency, even if you're flying red against blue, because I can just check that on preset they are transmitting on 297.575. I can just type it in and listen in with the opponents. So for this you have the chance, just make your own list of frequencies. For example, we just switch this to 297.1. We have changed it, we make our own list, and we can make a backup of this. Then again, do not override these 3 presets that are already coming with Weapon Delivery Planner, as they are the defaults for the blue. The radio is the default and the red is for the red side. So I'll just rename this to a name that I can just recognize again. And after switching maybe to a default setting, I can quickly load them up again using the Falcas name. And you see I have this presetted frequencies. This does not come without risk, because some frequencies are known to set to hear all flights in the neighborhood, or all flights for the whole campaign, or frequencies are linked to the user interface, the 2D world of Falcon. For example, preset 13307.3 is the standard frequency for talking with the 2D user interface. The same is 119.5, and the 12 preset is set to 269.1 or 21.2. So if you're not absolutely necessary of secret list, just leave it at default and you will be fine. The best option here is that you can actually see if frequencies are messed up, so you can quickly set them to the defaults and you should all be okay. Here's the navigation part. In the navigation part you can already preset the TACAN channel and TACAN function, as well as the ILS frequency and the ILS course for your navigation site. Of course, this is linked with the airport database. So an example, we have here selected Kunsan Airport. You see the ICAO 4-letter identifier and the IATA 3-letter identifier. The coordinates for the airbase and the elevation, the tower frequency in UHF and the tower frequency of VHF. You have the option to quickly set this to a preset frequency, like so, but I highly recommend not to do this, but just manually insert the frequency, this example 292.3, when you're in the cockpit. The TACAN channel for Kusan Air Base, 75 X-ray, and it has a range of 100 nautical miles. If you want to use this, just use the button and you will see this TACAN channel being inserted here on the top, and after saving it is stored in the data transfer cartridge, and when you're in the cockpit this is loaded up and set already. So after you loaded your data transfer cartridge, you have all the frequency you want. The same is with the ILS. You see we have a runway 18 with an ILS frequency of 110.3, inbound course 176. If you want to have that already inserted, then just click the use button. You see the ILS frequency and the inbound course set, and after loading the data transfer cartridge in the cockpit and you go to the TILS page, button 1 on the ICP, you will see that these settings already inserted for you. That means a lot less typing. You also might want to have a quick look at the airport itself. Just have a quick look here and you'll see the ground charts that Red Dog had made, and you can have a quick overview of the airport with all the rest of the data. You of course also have the option to select a totally different airport. First you have to select the country. Maybe you want to have some information about the opponent airbase in North Korea. And let's have a look at maybe Koksan airbase. We select it. You'll see that it's airport Koksan. In this case it does not have an IK or an IATA code, so the 3-letter code automatically set to Air Force Base, the coordinates, the elevation, the tower frequencies, no ILSs on the main runways. You can have a quick look at the chart, so you have an idea what the airport looks like. And as an example, we might even want to add a pre-planned threat for an airbase. I'll switch to a different airbase as a better example. Go to Fukuoka in Japan, and you'll see Fukuoka has a 4-letter ICAO identifier and a 3-letter IATA identifier. We might want to create a pre-planned threat type that is actually showing you the Fukuoka airport as a threat circle. I click the create PPT type. Are you sure that you want to create this? This is actually being added to your ppt.ini file, so the more you use it, the larger the file comes, but that's not a problem at all. I say just yes, and it has been saved. And just have a quick look at the pre-planned thread part, where we can find that pre-planned thread again. We have here the list with our pre-planned threads in our ppt.ini. And just scroll to the bottom, and we'll see that Fukuoka has been added with a 3-letter code Delta November Alpha and a threat circle range of 0.1, very small. That means you can place this Delta November Alpha threat circle anywhere you like. In most cases you will put this exactly on top of the airport of Fukuoka, and you will see the 3-letter code Delta November Alpha over at the airport, and that's just for quick navigation. This is actually a thing that is used in real life as well. That sums up all the things you can do here on the radio nav page.